Good morning, everybody. My name is Sandra Lone, Zoning Hearing Officer for the City of St. Louis Conditional Use Hearing. My colleagues Steve Nart and Catherine Neiman and I will be conducting today's scheduled hearing on applications for a conditional use permit. I will be acting as the hearing secretary. We are recording these hearings as a permanent record. We ask that you remain on mute if you are not given testimony. If you are calling by phone, it's *6 to mute and unmute. If multiple people are sharing a screen, we ask that only one person speak at a time, and please refrain from side conversations during an individual's testimony. These requests are made so we can accurately record the information and hear from those giving testimony. When each address is called, I ask that the applicant or representative indicate you are present. I will then ask you to state your name and address for the record. After a time of questions with the applicant, I will call for testimony from any persons in favor of the application. Then I will call for testimony from any persons in opposition to the application. Following today's hearing, our office will make a recommendation to the Board of Public Service, which is a separate department here at the city. They will make the final determination as no decision will be made here today. You will get the results in about 2 weeks. Therefore, you are welcome to leave or stay on the call and listen. The Board of Public Service will notify the applicant by mail regarding the findings of your conditional use permit. Okay, we'll call the first hearing. 3650 Highland Avenue, AH0-11761-24, Curtis Smith Services, Carpentry, Home Office Use, a single-family dwelling district, Ward 13. Do we have anybody here for 5656 Highland Avenue? So we're going to move on to the next one, and we'll come back to that at the end. 4301 South Broadway, AOP-11705-24, St. Louis Haunted Mansion, Event Banquet Space, no liquor, no cooking, F Neighborhood Commercial District, Ward 3.
Is there anyone here to represent this application?
That's me.
Okay, can we get your full name and address, please?
Okay. My name is Nicole Grayler. Do you need me to spell it?
No, we have it.
Okay.
about
My home address or the building address?
Wherever you get your mail.
740 North Laclede Station Road. It's 63119.
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about your facility, what kind of events you'll be having there?
Yeah, so St. Louis Haunted Mansion is the event company name. We do basically local crafters. Sometimes we bring in a little band. We've been vending at fairs, local fairs in the area, but we finally got the main level ballroom up to occupancy once we get the door in. We're having contractor issues with that, but they should be getting that in the next week. And then we'll be ready to go. So very, very basic, just tables and people selling local stuff. Maybe some art.
Okay. Are you moving from a different location, or is this the new?
This is the brick and mortar.
Okay. Approximately how many people do you think the building will accommodate?
So we're only going for the main level right now, and that's under 100 people.
Okay. How many people will you employ?
2, and they're part-time. Ideally more once we get going.
Okay. How many entrances and exits will you have in the building?
So entrances and exits that count as fire exits, we have 3 on the main level.
Okay. Do you have any off-street parking?
Yes, I have a parking lot.
You know how many cars that'll accommodate?
Not officially. I've got some old lines on it. We can fit about 20 cars. I think we could fit more if we redid it.
Okay. Have you had your health and safety inspections done yet?
Yes.
Will there be any outside seating?
No.
Will you be preparing food here?
No.
But will it be catered?
If an event wants to have food, then we're going to require them to handle the catering and all of that.
You have a commercial dumpster?
No, I need to get one though.
Okay, yes, you will have.
Mhm. I've
Will
currently
you
been
be
hauling
posting any
everything
new
in.
signage on the building?
New signage. I'd like to do new signage, but I don't have the money for it right now, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Just keep in mind, you'll have to get it permitted through the zoning office if you decide to
Yes.
go ahead with it. Have you reached out to your neighborhood association or your alderperson?
Yeah, I had a good conversation with the alderperson. I think he was gonna write me a letter, but he got busy, so
Okay. Yeah, we don't have anything in the file.
that's fine.
How about the neighborhood association? Did you talk to those folks?
So I'm in Mount Pleasant. I had a lot of trouble finding a neighborhood association. I did talk to Dutchtown. Dutchtown was super helpful. They're great.
Okay. Okay, these are two standard questions we ask everybody. Will the use be detrimental to the public's health, safety, morals, or general welfare?
No,
Will the use cause serious injury to the neighboring property by hindering use or reducing or impairing property values?
no,
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
no, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone here in the meeting in support of this application? Is there anyone here opposed to this application? Okay, we call this hearing heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
4231 East Natural Bridge Avenue, ALP-11730-24. Convenience store with full package liquor and cooking, F Neighborhood Commercial District, Ward 11.
Is there anyone here to represent this application?
You're muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and your name, sir?
Donnell Malik Sims,
Address, please?
2161 Thurman Avenue, Apartment G, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110.
Okay, can you tell us how large the building is?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell us how large the building is, square foot wide?
It's approximately 38,000 square feet.
38,000 or 3,800?
I'm sorry, 3,800. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
sorry, Sandy. 100. I'm sorry.
What items will you be selling in the convenience store?
Thanks, Sandy. So originally, it's just going to be grocery items and sundry items. Originally, we thought that there was a fire at the establishment, and we thought that a renewed application for alcohol could be submitted. But I got with Alderwoman Keys and a few others and determined that once, for whatever reason, your alcohol license lapse, it is considered new. So the ordinance doesn't present that, provide that you could sell alcohol once it's lapsed period. So I spoke with Ms. Sandy yesterday, and we took that off. There's no longer desire or that to sell alcohol at all. So it'll
Okay,
just be grocery items and the regular convenience store items.
okay. You have an ATM or vending machine outside?
No, sir, we do not.
Will there be any other uses in the building besides the convenience store, like sit down or carry out deli dining?
Yes,
Deli
there will
food?
be. We requested cooking. Yes, carry out cooking. There won't be any sit down dining.
Okay. Will you be open 24 hours a day?
No, sir, absolutely not.
What hours of operation will you be open?
From 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
7 days a week?
Yes, sir.
How many employees will you have altogether?
Approximately, with the cooks included, if we're permitted, approximately 6.
Okay. And how many per shift?
There will be 2 cooks. There will be 1 store attendant clerk. So 3 per shift.
Okay. How many parking spaces do you have?
12.
Okay. Is there any area for shipping and receiving, or does that just come in the back door?
Yes, sir. It comes in the back door. There's a large parking area there where a big truck can pull in and go through the back entrance,
Okay.
and it's gated as well.
Okay. Will there be exterior lighting and surveillance cameras installed?
Absolutely.
Um, you have a commercial dumpster?
Yes, sir. We do.
Will you be selling tobacco products?
Yes, sir. In their original package,
Okay.
no blue cigarettes or paraphernalia, anything like that.
Okay. I have to read this. There shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended for use as drug paraphernalia, as defined in Ordinance 68-404, or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there should be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance. Examples of which include, but are not limited to, the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, and Garcia Vega. Do you have any issues with that?
No, not really. I have a question though. So those in their original package, they're against the ordinance. They're prohibited. I know they are in singles if you break the package
Right.
open.
That's why we're talking about it now to see if you're going to sell them or not.
Yeah, yes. In their original package, though, no singles or anything like that.
Okay. Will you installing any new signs outside?
No, there's an existing sign. We will be changing that. The existing sign reads as M&A packaged liquor, and again, the store caught fire in 2019. It took us that long to rebuild, so we're going to be changing that sign to
Okay.
reflect
You'll
store
still need a
convenience store.
permit to change it. It's called refacing it.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Have you reached out to your neighborhood association or alderperson for their support?
Yes, I have. I spoke with Alderwoman Keys at length about it. The only thing that she is adamantly against is, of course, alcohol.
Okay.
Uh, yes.
How about your neighborhood association? You talk to those folks?
No, I talked to one member. That's it. I didn't talk to the president or the entire association.
Okay. Another couple of standard questions. Will the use be detrimental to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare?
No, sir.
Okay. And will the use cause serious injury to the neighboring property by hindering use or
No,
reducing or impairing property values?
no, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, again, other than I just want to stress the fact that gentleman, he's an older gentleman. He had a severe fire. It took him a while to rebuild, to get his money together and get the proper contractors together, and he just wants to reopen his business. Prior to the fire, there wasn't any loitering, nuisance violations or anything like that. He ran a good, clean business.
Okay, good. Is there anyone here in support of this application? Is there anyone here opposed to this application?
Yes. Yes,
Okay. Can we
Amber
get your name
Cole,
and address, please?
Amber Cole, 11th Ward.
How do you spell that, please?
Which one? Cole, C-O-L-E? Amber, A-M-B-E-R.
Okay, Amber, what's your address, please?
2007 East Fair.
And what would you like to say?
I know we have a moratorium in the 11th Ward, so I'm totally opposed of 4231 Natural Bridge being granted a conditional use. We have not spoke to, I'm a member of the O'Fallon Neighborhood Association, and we have not spoken to anyone. I spoke at length with the alderperson, and she is totally against this business. I spoke to people. We also went and legislated that moratorium because of the harmful effects substance abuse have occurred in our area with our vulnerable residents. And in this area, we have enough liquor stores, which I call convenience stores, rather liquor stores that's selling convenience items.
Miss Cole,
We have,
Miss
yes,
Cole, they took liquor off their application. If
they
that makes,
took liquor off their application.
they talked to the alderman
Yes, ma'am.
yesterday, and then they came in last night. Malik, I'll come back to you, Malik. Then they came in yesterday and updated their application and took alcohol off of it. If that makes a
Okay. And so it's just the
convenience store.
convenience store, or are they selling food?
Yes, convenience store with hot food.
Okay, I'm not really sure about that one.
Okay.
Because we have enough items, people selling food. We call it Greasy Alley, because that's all we got, a bunch of no sit down restaurants or anything. And so that's what we are also proposing for sit down restaurants. But I did not talk to my understanding he had pulled his the complete permit yesterday. I was not, that's why I just jumped on and just was listening, and I was shocked to hear it. But I have not talked. I would consider him coming to one of the neighborhood meetings and discuss it with the neighborhood. And I'm not the whole neighborhood, so I can't speak directly for them, but I would suggest that before this is granted.
Okay. Sorry, Steve.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
Mr. Sims, would you be willing to talk to that neighborhood group?
Yes. I can speak with them. Yes, and I was under the impression that again, I spoke with only one member, and that member was like, "Well, we don't have a problem with it so long as there's no alcohol and drug paraphernalia."
Right.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, and that was
Okay.
as you heard, that was Miss Cole's main concern, and I agree with her. When I spoke to the gentleman originally, I told him I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I don't think it's a good idea. I know this neighborhood association. I know the alderperson. They're against any and all alcohol. He was under the impression that he could renew, but when I spoke with Alderwoman Keys and the licensing department in City Hall, they were like, no, it would be considered new. So I am elated. Actually, I'm happy that that can't be permitted.
Okay. We thank you very much. We call this hearing heard.
Okay, thank you.
Four two six six Natural Bridge Avenue, AOP 11739-24, Militia of Grace Adult Daycare Center, adult daycare with 50 adults and cooking, F Neighborhood Commercial District, Ward 12.
Good morning. My name is BJ Buchanan. I'm representing 4266 Natural Bridge Avenue, Militia of Grace.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, do you just want to briefly tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm opening up an adult care center for veterans and elders, basically trying to create a high standard of care for them, being able to, help them improve physically, mentally, emotionally, and, socially. Long story short, I was in the Navy for 5 years as a medic. When I got out, I kind of wanted to do something with elders. I seen how the VA kind of handled some of the veterans and stuff, and I figured I can open up a care center to kind of get them, in the door more for what they need. Uh, Basically, it's going to be a 6 to 6 program, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., where they come in, they're able to get breakfast, lunch, and snacks, be able to enjoy field trips, take them to the appointed VA hospital medical appointments, or if they're not a veteran, to the regular medical appointments, and just really just get them through with therapy, physical therapy, exercise, and get them out there, house. Mhm.
Okay. What's the age range of adults?
So for veterans, it would be 65 and up. For just regular civilians, it would be, depending on Medicare, but it's usually 60 and up.
Do you have an estimated amount of adults that will be at the center per day?
Yes, so right now we are looking at 40 to 60 clients being there.
How many employees will you have?
Did you say employees? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how many employees will you have?
Yeah, so we're gonna start off with 3 to 7. So for every 8 clients, we will have to have one worker. So we make sure me, myself, and my assistant, and my other worker are already signed in for it, and then we'll just get one each time we get another 8 clients. But right now we're looking at 7.
Okay. And then, will any of the adults need any sort of medical attention while they're in your care?
No,
Such
ma'am.
as like, okay.
No. Other than like, medical appointments, going to get treated for things like dialysis or something like that, we will make sure they get to their appointment on time, but nothing like in-house that they need.
Okay. Will you have a nurse on staff or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the building ADA accessible?
Can you say that one more time?
Is the building ADA accessible?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, will you have a commercial kitchen to provide meals?
Yeah, so we do have a commercial kitchen. We started off with just wanting to cater due to the fact that we didn't know the process of getting the hood and everything inspected and re up to date. But in our contract with ASC, they actually are going to recertify it, get it back right. So we're actually are going to use the kitchen. So we'll be cooking in the building.
Okay. Will you provide any sort of transportation to and from the daycare?
Yes, ma'am. We'll pick them up and drop them off at any medical appointments or any appointments they have to go to.
Okay, and then will the adults be mentally coherent enough to take breaks or go outside on their own, or will they need overseers?
No, ma'am.
Constant
They will be,
supervision?
yeah, they will be able to, go outside and take a break and everything. They will have overseers, as in like caregivers after we drop them off. So once they do get home, they do have caregivers and stuff. But while at the facility, they are able to handle themselves.
Okay. Do you have any sort of outside area in the back?
We have a outside area in back. It's an alley, but our main is the front. We have a huge parking lot, so we're gonna have a section where it's gonna be set up as like a outside deck area kind of thing. So they will have their own section right outside in the parking lot.
Do you know how many exits and entrances the daycare
Yes,
will have in
ma'am.
total?
Yep. So we have the front exit and two emergency exits.
And then I can't remember if I already asked this. Will you have a commercial dumpster?
Yes, ma'am. So the dumpsters, we will have a commercial dumpster, yes.
Okay. Have you had any health or safety inspections done yet?
No, no, ma'am.
And then do you plan on posting any signage around the building?
Yes, ma'am. They do have a sign up. Currently it was the old Royal Palace, and we do just want to take it down and replace it with Militia Grace.
Okay. Just make sure you submit a sign permit with the building division.
Yes, ma'am.
And have you reached out to your neighborhood association or alderperson?
I have been speaking with the Alderwoman Taya Sharon, amazing lady. She ended up sending a letter of support, and I have that on file.
Okay, that's great. And we also have it on our file as well, so thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
She listed a couple conditions that I'm sure you're aware of. I'm just gonna read them, just to make sure you're okay with all of them. Hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Clients will not stay or sleep overnight. Like you mentioned, number of employees will be 1 employee for every 8 clients. Outside advertisements be limited to no more than 2 exterior signs.
Did you say 2 exterior signs?
Yeah, she says the outside advertisements be limited to no more than 2 exterior signs with the name of the business on them both. Should face Natural Bridge. No more than 1 pole and 1 awning or board sign with no other outside advertisements.
Okay, so I have a quick question really quick because there's one sign that's attached to the building, and then there's another sign that's on a pole, and then there's one sign, but it's not like an actual sign, it's engraved in the walkway that says Royal Palace. I was gonna replace all 3 of those. So it's 2 actual signs and then one that's kind of part of the building. Would that be considered a sign or would that be okay?
We'd have to look at it to see.
Yeah, we would have to look at it to see once you submit the sign permits.
Okay.
And we can take a look at it then when you get to that step.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
And then she just asked that there be a commercial dumpster on site, which sounds like you have.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Just 2 questions we ask everyone. Will the use be detrimental to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare?
No, ma'am.
And then will the use cause serious injury to the neighboring property by hindering property values?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just a quick thing. So I with the parking lot, we are neighboring with a car business, like fix up cars and stuff. And I just wanted to see what would it like, could I block off that side? Because I don't want people driving in through our parking lot. Would that be allowed to if I like put up barrier or like something that can kind of have our parking lot split from theirs? I just wanted to
Sure.
see
If yeah, if you want to put any sort of barrier on your property or within your property lines, you have the right to do so. We would just need if it involves any sort of exterior alterations like drilling into the ground, like bollards or anything like that, you'll need a building permit. But that would be it, right?
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not gonna drill in the ground or anything. Just put some type of like concrete barriers or something, just because I want people driving in while I have my clients outside or
Sure.
anything.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely permissible. Just as long as it's all within your property boundaries.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there anyone here today on the call in support of the application?
Myself, Amber Cole.
Is there anything else, or anything you would like to add, Ms. Cole?
I've spoke extensively also with Alderwoman Sharon Titus, and she really praised this business. We looking forward to them being in the community, although he's not in the 11th ward, but he's across the street from the 11th ward. And so we welcome that kind of business in our neighborhood. Also, she told us how he has remodeled that building. It used to be a bar. So I really say thank you, thank you, thank you, because we ain't got rid of that. So I applaud you, sir, and continue to anything we can do to help you be a success in our area. We look forward to helping you in any way we can.
Thank you, Ms.
Great.
Ms. Gore.
Yes, thank you. Is there anyone else here today on the call in support of the application?
Yes, this is Barbara Potts, Neighborhood Improvement Specialist for the City of St. Louis.
And what would you like to add?
Mr. Buchanan, the only thing I would like to add is you are located on a pretty busy street. Natural Bridge is extremely busy. And unfortunately, when it comes to busy, it also comes to a lot of litter. And I want to make sure that you will have somebody patrol the area around your business at least once a day, picking up litter. That's the only thing I can say. Welcome to the neighborhood, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Ms. Barber. And yes, we do. We already had that assigned with our workers that look, the surrounding area has a lot of trash on it. If you see anything, pick it up. And daily, we're going to make sure that, it looks nice and presentable, no matter what time it is.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Potts. Anyone else on the call today in support? Is there anyone on the call today opposed to the application? All right, thanks so much, Mr. Buchanan. We call this hearing heard.
Thank you.
Excuse me. 3901 Washington Avenue, AOP-11465-24, Little Scholars Academy, daycare with 80 children and cooking, H Area Commercial District, Ward 9.
I'm here.
Okay, can we get your name and mailing address for the record?
My name is Keisha Murphy. Mailing address 5057 Emerson, St. Louis, Missouri 63120.
You want to briefly explain what you'll be doing here?
Oh yes, I am a child care facility that will be servicing families throughout the neighborhood that need child care while they work and or go to school.
What is the age range of the children that you'll keep?
6 weeks to 13 years.
And then approximately how many square feet is the building?
2,700.
You plan on separating the children by their ages?
Did we lose you, Keisha?
Hello.
Yeah,
There you are.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I think I got lost.
That's okay.
That's okay.
A bit of an
A bit of
echo.
an echo.
Why is it
Why should I?
Is your
Is your
microphone?
microphone?
Is your
Is your
microphone?
microphone?
Keisha, do
Keisha,
you
do you
have
have
Maybe two.
maybe
another
another
device
device that
plugged into the
plugged
phone?
into the phone?
Another device to plug into the. No, I don't. I'm
Maybe it's
sorry.
It's because
We're just getting
we're
an
just getting an
echoing
echoing
on
on
our
our
end.
end.
I'm sorry.
We're trying to figure
We're
out.
trying.
Maybe she's in here twice now. Since we lost
We
her.
lost them.
I'm still here.
Let's just deal with it.
Can you hear us all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now.
All right. Well, it went away, so we're gonna continue. Sorry about that. My question was, will you separate the children by their ages?
Yes. So the infants will go in the room together, then preschool will be by themselves, and then school age has their own classrooms.
Will you be living at this address?
No.
How many employees will you have?
15.
Okay. And then, is that 15 all at one time, or is there certain shifts that the employees will work?
If it's capacity with all 80 kids, there will be 15 staff members at one time due to student to staff ratio.
Okay. What are your days and hours of operation?
Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m.
And then what sort of activities will the children be doing during that time?
Well, they have a planned activities throughout the day. Well, depends on the month, time of the year, which this month will be Valentine's Day and Black History Month, where they will do activities based on those things. And we are working with a curriculum from NACES for educational purposes.
Okay. Will there be any area for the children to play outside?
Yes, there is a playground area. And it is
Sorry.
separate.
Okay. Is that area fenced in by chance?
Yes.
And then do you have a commercial kitchen to provide meals?
Yes.
And then is there a spot that the children are able to be dropped off and picked up?
Yes.
Will you be providing any sort of transportation?
Not at this very moment, but hopefully in the future.
And then how many entrances and exits do you have in total?
There was one main entrance, and then there are 3 entrances / exits to the infant room, and then one main exit out the back.
Okay, so about 5 in total. Is there any entrance or exit that leads directly outside without having to climb up or down steps?
Yes.
Have you reached out to the alderperson or neighborhood association?
Yes, I have reached out to the alderperson, Mr. Michael Browning. He supported me with the letter. I am currently trying to find a neighborhood association. I'm kind of new to all of this, so I really don't know.
Okay, we do have the letter of support from the alderman, so thank you for providing that. And then just 2 questions we ask everyone. Will the use be detrimental to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare?
No.
And then will the use cause serious injury to the neighboring property by hindering or reducing property values? Is
No.
there anything else that you'd like to add?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Is there anyone here today on the call in support of the application? Anyone opposed to the application? Okay, thank you so much. We call the hearing heard.
Thank you.
5500 South Broadway, AB-582868-24, New Vista Behavioral Health Hospital, interior and exterior alterations per plans for hospital, zoning only, D multiple family dwelling district, Ward 8.
Is there anyone here today to represent the application?
Morning, my name is Joel Smith. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I'm from the law firm Hush Blackwell. My personal address is 3939 Connecticut Street, and Hush Blackwell is in Clayton at 8001 Forsyth, Suite 1500. Also today here is Kyle Studebaker. He's from the applicant. He's the project manager. You can also see him on the screen. I'll be answering most of the questions, I think, but I've got Kyle here for any technical or operational expertise that we may need.
Perfect, thank you. All right, would you like to briefly explain what you'll be doing at this address?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. So as I just explained, I'm Joel Smith on behalf of the applicant. I just wanted to take a few minutes to explain why this project is appropriate for the city of St. Louis. And I know you'll have some questions at the end, and we're going to be happy to answer them. So this conditional use permit application requests authorization from the city of St. Louis to use the building located at 5500 South Broadway for a behavioral health hospital. 5500 South Broadway, as you just stated, is located in the Zone D multifamily dwelling district. Hospitals are permitted in Zone D as a conditional use subject to satisfaction of the conditional use standards outlined in the city's code. And so the purpose of my testimony today is to show that this proposed use satisfies those conditional use standards. So the applicant currently operates several such of these hospitals around the country and in the Midwest. And so this would be an extension of their current business. Basically, it would just, think about it like a franchise. They're adding another one. They know how to do this. They've done it before. They do it all the time. It's not a new thing. In those facilities that they operate, they provide medical support to those in need of behavioral health and substance use rehabilitation services. Such individuals remain inside the facility during treatment and receive medical treatment and assistance from staff. So using this property as a behavioral health facility is appropriate for the city because the use is compatible with the city's purpose for the area, and it will benefit the local community, as I'm about to explain in detail. Before we get into the community and the zoning issues, I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the building because it's really relevant to this application. It's a very unique building. I don't know if you guys have Google in front of you. We could throw it up on the screen if you'd like. But 5500 South Broadway was built back in 2001, so about 25 years ago, for the purpose of being a nursing home. So it's not your standard kind of big box building that can be customized to a variety of uses. It's pretty uniquely designed to be a nursing home. It's well designed for that use, but not so much for other uses. Because it's a big building. It's got effectively 4 floors and a basement. It's got a couple wings coming out, well, really 3 wings coming off a central hub. It's designed to kind of, the way you'd think a hospital would be, with a central operations center with wings of, clients, patients off the end that get treatment. For that reason, it'd be very hard to find a replacement tenant who would use the entire building. It would basically need to be somebody in this kind of industry. It's not going to be easy to break up into commercial spaces for individual tenants to use parts of it, at least not without substantial renovation. And it would be pretty difficult to find somebody not in this business who'd want to use the whole building. And further, converting to residential would be pretty tricky for the same reasons. It's just not designed with the plumbing and all the such things to be easily broken out into, segregated spaces for rent to each tenant. So using the building in its current form is easily the most efficient and cost-effective thing to do, and that's what this applicant intends to do. Before, like I said, it was a nursing home when it was built, and so that use is very comparable to this behavioral health hospital use, in that it had individuals temporarily living in the building, receiving assistance from staff members, some of it medical, all right? So this use is the same thing. There will be people in the building for short-term stays to receive assistance medically and from staff. Again, it's not designed for people living on the premises and going about in the world. They're there to get treatment, and that's what they do while they're there. So, it's been 20 years that this building's been used as a place, as I just described. It'll continue to be used that way. So I think the harmony that's been established with the community would continue. In fact, I know that it would. Lastly, on the building, I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about vacancy issues. As you know, City of St. Louis has a lot of vacancy problems right now. As a real estate attorney myself, it weighs heavily on my mind. I recently bought my own home in the City of St. Louis, and so I kind of pay a lot of attention to property values and read the St. Louis Dispatch every day talking about vacancies downtown, vacancies around the city, the plans the city's put into place over the last 20 years to take possession of vacant buildings to turn them into economically productive uses. It's a very long story in St. Louis, and so this building's one of those. Like I said, I think I said 2 years ago is when the nursing home ceased operations. They had a union fight, and as a result, they closed down. And so we're looking at 2 years or so that this building's been sitting there with nobody doing anything in it, and that's pretty risky to the city. It increases crime. Think about all the church fires. There's been, very well publicized downtown vacancy, commercial buildings with vandalism issues, and people having to spend a lot of money on security. So that's one of the things with this building, being unique, being difficult to use for a lot of different purposes. It has a high prospect of remaining vacant, as it has been for 2 years. This applicant, because of their business, can make perfect use of the building as it is. So it's kind of a perfect fit for the city to get something online to be economically productive. So that's the building. Why it fits into the city's zoning plan is the next thing I want to talk about. So the intended use, behavioral health hospital, is consistent with the city's desired use of the property. It is compatible and convenient to the residents of the district. So the D multifamily district describes its purpose of maintaining older medium density residential districts, preserving older architectural styles while encouraging a harmonious intermingling of other structures, and providing for an increased variety and intermixture of uses free from other uses except those both compatible and convenient to the residents of the district. So there's several words in there that this application clearly fits within. It's not going to displace any current residences. So the intermingling with the current residences is really important in this district. It's got across the street, it has a bunch of, standard single family and kind of two-family residences, the great brick buildings we love in the city. On either side of it, it has commercial operations, and it's separated by 4 lanes South Broadway. So it fits really well into the community over there. And like I said, it's been this way for 20 plus years, and it fit well in that time, and it'll continue to fit well. I would say it's bounded by commercial buildings. I should elaborate. On the north side, it's a retirement community. So again, very similar use with people residing inside the building and expected to receive medical services. So very similar use in the area. The entire district kind of on that side of the street has been used similarly, and this would continue that similar use. The city did also previously determine this use is compatible with and convenient to the community. So I said it was a nursing home before. Nursing homes are also a conditional use in the multifamily D district. So this building, as it currently exists structure-wise, said, oh, that fits. And what people were doing inside it, pretty much the same thing that this applicant's doing, or at least going to be substantially similar. The city thought that was fine as well 20 years ago. So I don't see any reason that it would think that it should be different today. So it should be pretty reasonable for the city to go ahead and approve this use. One thing I should point out too is the purpose of the district was established prior to the construction of the building. So the city, when it issued building permits, and like I said, the conditional use permit for that use, and any of the other authorizations that were related to that, the city was aware of what was going to be done there, and it seemed to be pretty fine with it then. City's approval of the property as a nursing home and the adjacent property as a retirement community, like I said, indicates the city has determined those are compatible and convenient uses to the residents of the area. And so the applicant's use being the same is also compatible and convenient. It's also consistent with the city's strategic land use plan. So in the zoning world, that's often called a comprehensive plan, and this fits right in with that. The area that this city or this property is in has been designated as the neighborhood preservation area, which frankly covers a lot of the city. And the purpose of that is to kind of preserve St. Louis's great historic structures while allowing it to modernize where needed. I think a specific part of the purpose there that's relevant here is the plan contemplates continued preservation and improvement with quality rehabilitation and infill new construction that is sensitive to the character of existing residences. So as I described, the location of this building when it was built 20 years ago took the residences into consideration with great sensitivity. It's separated by a 4-lane road. Behind it, on the east side is the Mississippi River. North of it is another similar use. South of it is a public park. So it's bounded by non-residents itself, so it's already buffered really great to fit in. Frankly, this project is pretty much precisely what was contemplated in the city's strategic land use plan. The existing building is going to be preserved. They're not knocking down any of the wings. They're not doing anything crazy. It's going to look from the outside the same structure as it does now, but they're going to make significant interior improvements. Like I said, it's a 25-year-old building. You expect some improvements to be needed. And these guys have a pretty high standard that they hold themselves to. I've seen their other buildings, and their intention is to make it look just as nice as inside as those do, which is really important, I think, for their business. So they'll do it. So anyway, for those reasons, it fits with the strategic plan. It fits with the plan for the district and the zoning. The city seems to want this kind of business in this area. So I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes here talking about the community impact, because I know that's really the most important issue, or at least certainly one of the most important issues. And so this project is going to provide considerable benefits to the city of St. Louis. Mainly, the biggest point that I want everyone to take home is the services that are provided by this applicant are directly to the surrounding community. So it will, provide services directly to the city, and the services it's providing are sorely needed. So one of the things that's important to keep in mind here is this project has already been through a very thorough review process at the state level. There's regulations that require these types of businesses to be determined to be necessary. I think, while it's out of my area of expertise, like I said, I'm a real estate lawyer, but from my understanding is the state government and the federal government, I think both have an interest in having these services available. They know people need this. And they also know that if there were too many of these types of hospitals, then there wouldn't be enough business and the services would suffer or maybe disappear entirely. And so for that reason, before they give the necessary permits at the state level to operate this type of business, they do a very thorough review of what other hospitals are in the area, the region, what services they provide, the number of beds they have, a very comprehensive look at, do we actually want this hospital here from a service standpoint? And last week, they determined unanimously, the board that makes these decisions, that yes, they do want this here. They looked at the beds. Again, it's not my area of expertise, but I saw the analysis that was presented to that board and their reasoning. And it's basically, oh yeah, we're missing a lot of beds. Even adding this facility, they would still come up short, it looked like, of what their target would be. So my point only is this is a very needed service. It's been determined to be needed. And I think a couple other points, honestly, before at the risk of belaboring it, we know the city of St. Louis famously has some social issues. We have a higher rate of poverty. I think it's something like 40% higher than the normal average. We have been determined by certain agencies, I think the National Institute of Health included, that we have a higher percentage by about 25% of a need for mental health services. And so anyway, the city is itself uniquely in need of these services, despite the state's just simple recognition that there are not enough beds in the area. So big deal. So in that process, I should mention as well that the local medical providers, so like BJC and some others, I'm not certain which ones, but I can determine it. But there were several, I saw letters of support from local medical people who would honestly, I would think, be this applicant's competitors, and they were on board with it. So if that tells you how much we need this, it's that they're not concerned about adding one of these businesses that might potentially take away from them. I think that's a pretty strong, I know that's a pretty strong argument. A couple things on community. We did contact Alderwoman Kara Spencer, to discuss this project. We haven't heard back from her, but we do have strong support from State Representative for the area, Steve Butts, as well as the Senator who covers this area, Stephen Roberts. I have letters of support from them related to the CON, the Certificate of Need process I was just describing, that I could provide if you'd like to see them, as well as the medical provider letters like I just referenced. So approval of this application is going to benefits the local community by reducing crime, as I indicated with the vacancies, stimulating the economy. I'm going to go into that a little bit further, and providing the direct services that I described. And lastly, employment opportunities. It kind of fits into the stimulating the economy part, but we need jobs, and this will provide them. So vacant buildings have a direct correlation to increased crime. Converting vacant buildings, therefore, has a direct correlation to reducing crime. This will take a building that's been vacant for 2 years, convert it into a viable entity. It's going to reduce crime. It's a 24-hour operation as well. So there isn't a point in the day where criminals might try to prey on the area when they otherwise would. And it's going to be, occupied by people and security. Keep an eye on it. So establishing a functioning business, as I said, this applicant has several of these. They do this, their team is large, they're established, they're a proven track record of success. That's going to cause additional money to flow into the community in a few ways. First of all, they have skilled staff members that are going to be coming to their building on a daily basis to provide these services. Those people will inevitably need gasoline, food, and all the attendant goods and services that we all get, around our workplaces. When we come to work in the morning or on the way home, coffee, all that good stuff. And so it's going to stimulate the local businesses directly, as well as those individuals stimulating the local business. People who are visiting the patients in the hospital also will consume these services, probably also including lodging. So very, significant stimulation to economy. Often hotels rates and things are, and occupancy rates are a strong indicator of economic strength in a community. And so this will help, just simply will. It's also, like I said, going to draw on the local community for its staff. It's not like they're flying people in from other countries. They're not getting H-1B visas to fill all these roles. So we're looking at about 135 permanent professional and semi-professional jobs. Like I said, many of them very highly skilled. And so lastly, on the stimulating the local economy, the applicant's business is also going to need services, right? They have laundry that they send out. They need food, catering, all that good stuff, transportation. So all of the little businesses, the smaller attendant businesses that provide services to businesses of this type will benefit directly. I want to mention too that this applicant is not requesting any incentives from the city of St. Louis in connection with this project. I know that the city has been looking closely at its incentives and who they provide them to and how, and this applicant doesn't need them. This is a viable project without them. They're excited to be here without, the city giving them any extra handouts. So they're going to give things to the economy. They're not asking for anything back. I also want to point out the nature of the services are such, as I said, that the governments in the area, the state, the federal, the locals, they have an interest in the service being provided, or they wouldn't have the regulatory process for the certificate of need. They wouldn't hold those hearings. They wouldn't put everybody through that. Unanimous approval doesn't happen every time. So they definitely, have determined this one is something that we want to see from that high level. I know that's not the city, but to the extent it matters to the city. I want to point out too, the applicant's got a long history of partnering with local courts, police, and fire departments and mental health agencies. So if you think about some of their clients might be somebody that has an interaction currently with city officials, and those people will be able to bring individuals to this facility without concern. They accept all types of payments. So it kind of simplifies that aspect of those services that the city bumps up against from time to time, and should be a great boon to them. Also, there's a bus line that goes right along South Broadway, as I think we know, right in front of this building. So that'll help people in the local community get access to the services who might otherwise not have it because they'd have difficulty getting there. I think that's a big deal. So for all those reasons, this project is going to directly benefit the surrounding community, economically, safety, all that great stuff. Zoning compliance too, a little word on that. We went through a zoning review. Obviously that predates the conditional use permit referral. And Evan Winkler in the zoning office and I looked at the site plan from the applicant, and he raised a parking issue. So we agreed to add about 4 bicycle parking spaces, depending on the final parking needs. But the maximum we would need to do is add those. We agreed with Evan. We have the site plan reflecting that plan. And he referred us here with that being this being the only issue. So all the above reasons, this project is not going to be detrimental to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare, and will not cause any serious injury to or reduce the property values of the neighboring community. In fact, it's going to do the opposite. Also, this project is going to contribute to and enhance the general welfare and convenience of the property itself, 5500 South Broadway. I know the applicant's really excited to start contributing to South City and the city of St. Louis as a whole. I appreciate your time. I know I went on for a little bit. We're happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you much.
Great, thank you so much. You covered a lot of my questions, but I do have a couple more. How many beds will the facility have?
72.
How many employees will the facility have?
So we'll staff approximately 130 to 135 total employees. But that's part-time, nighttime, all shifts, weekend coverage. That's total staff. Max staff and max shift, which is first shift, is going to be somewhere between 40 and 42.
Okay. And then, do you happen to know how many of those employees per shift will be doctors?
Yeah, so we'll have up to 5 total doctors on staff, but at most 2 per shift.
And then I was briefly looking through the plans that we have here, and I probably saw it, but just for the record, will you guys have a commercial kitchen for patient meals?
Yes.
Okay. And then a commercial dumpster on the site?
Yes.
Okay. And this is outpatients, correct, or inpatients?
It is an inpatient behavioral health hospital, and we will have an outpatient component
Okay.
for those that are discharged.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Those are all the questions I have. Like I said, most of it was covered. Just 2 standard questions we ask everyone. I'm sure as you've heard on the call today, will the use be detrimental to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare?
It will not, for the reasons stated.
Yes, thank you. And then will the use cause serious injury to the neighboring property by hindering or reducing property values?
It will not, for reasons stated. We'll do the opposite.
Thank you. Is there anything else either of you would like to add?
I'm good, Kyle.
No, I mean, I would just add a little bit about the company if I could, just for 30 seconds. You know,
Sure.
we're a family-owned company. I think that's very important. We're not funded by Wall Street. We're not developers who don't have experience in operations. We are a owner operator. We do know what we are doing. We are able to recruit qualified staff throughout the country to work for New Vista Behavioral Health. So for reasons that Joel stated, we will be an asset to the community with a lot of high-paying and highly skilled jobs. So we currently operate 5 other psych hospitals and many other drug and alcohol treatment centers. We have our own subsidiary behavioral health companies as well. And this is hopefully the first of many projects and business lines that we bring to the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you both, Kyle and Joel. Is there anyone here today on the call in support of the application? Is there anyone opposed to the application? Thank you so much. We call the hearing heard. And then just as a quick reminder to everyone on the call or that spoke today, we make our recommendation to the Board of Public Service, and that hearing is heard in
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So no decisions are made here today. But please feel free to call our office at any time if you have any other further questions. So thank you, everyone.
I'm going to read this one in again for Highland.
Okay.
5656 Highland Avenue, AH0-11761-24, Curtis Smith Services, Carpentry, Home Office Use Only, a single-family dwelling district, Ward 13. Do we have anybody here for Highland Avenue? We have one person that came in that was Teray.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything. Okie dokie.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're gonna end the meeting.